I woke up choking, not metaphorically, not groggily, actually choking. The room was silent, and I don't mean peaceful quiet. I mean the kind of dead silence that makes your skin crawl. My oxygen machine had gone completely dark. No hum, no lights, nothing. Just that eerie stillness, like the air itself forgot how to exist. And if you know anything about my lungs, they don't exactly freelance anymore. That machine is the only reason I wake up at all. At first I thought, okay, maybe a breaker tripped, or maybe a squirrel got too bold. I stumbled out of bed like a drunk zombie, gasping with every step, trying to stay calm, even though my chest was already on fire. Checked the panel. All good. Still power inside the house. So what the hell? I looked out the window, and there she was, Patricia Garland, our HOA president, standing by my power meter, holding a pair of heavy-duty wire cutters like she was about to perform heart surgery on the entire grid. I banged on the glass, tried to shout, but it came out like a squeaky tire losing air. "Patricia, that's for my oxygen. I need that." She didn't flinch. She smiled, and shouted back, "Good morning, Mr. Connors. Just addressing a minor violation." "Your gnome, Bartholomew, isn't it? He's crossing the buffer zone between properties. Section 9, paragraph 4. Decorative infractions can lead to suspension of amenities." And then, snip, I heard it, the moment she cut it. The backup battery inside gave a single beep. That beep was the only thing standing between me and a full-blown medical emergency. My oxygen machine went into backup mode, blinking like it was mocking me. 2 hours left, tops. And this wasn't just about a damn gnome. This was about power, not electrical, control. Patricia had been nitpicking neighbors for years. Mailboxes too colorful, flags too big, wind chimes too whimsical. But this was different. I grabbed my emergency tank, sat down on the floor, and focused on breathing. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Then I picked up the phone and called 911. Told them what happened, how the HOA president cut off my power to enforce a lawn rule. The dispatcher sounded like I'd just reported a missing recycling bin. "We'll send someone to take a report, sir." A report? I needed air, not paperwork. That's when it hit me. Patricia's own rule book. I'd seen something buried deep in the bylaws about temporary emergency equipment for property maintenance or health crises. Bingo. If she wanted to play by the book, I'd burn the whole damn thing on her front lawn. Metaphorically, of course. I called a generator company, Griffin's Heavy Rentals. Told them I needed a monster. The guy on the line laughed and said, "How about a 40-ton diesel that just came off a hospital job?" I said, "Perfect. Bring her fast." An hour later, the ground shook. Griffin rolled up with a truck the size of a battleship. It was beautiful. My neighbors came out like prairie dogs, heads poking up over hedges and fences, trying to see what was happening. Patricia was trimming her roses. She looked up and froze. Clippers mid-snip. Griffin leaned out of the cab, spotted me with my oxygen tank, and yelled, "Where do you want her, boss?" I pointed straight at the patch of grass right next to Patricia's flower bed. "Right there. She likes symmetry." By the time the generator was in place, Patricia came storming over. "You can't do this!" she shouted, eyes bulging. "You're violating at least 4 city codes!" "Actually," I said, "you violated something first. My right to breathe. And by the way, Section 9, emergency clause. You know, the one you apparently forgot to highlight in your little binder." She screamed something about calling the police. "Please do," I said, patting the generator. I'd love to explain this to someone who can actually arrest people. 10 minutes later, police showed up. 2 officers. The older one looked exhausted before he even got out of the car. The younger one looked like he might cry from holding in laughter. Patricia launched into a full-blown monologue about decorative anarchy and auditory trauma to her begonias. The officers asked for my side. I handed over the medical paperwork. Showed them the doorbell footage, clear as day. Patricia cutting the line. Even caught her muttering something about my gnome's smug little face. The older officer just sighed and said, "Ma'am, tampering with someone's power, especially for medical equipment, is a serious offense." She went pale. Then she went quiet. That might have been a first. But the best part? About 20 minutes after the cops left, a city inspector showed up. Apparently, Patricia filed another complaint about industrial equipment on residential property. Mr. Brandt was his name. He looked like he was carved out of stone by a guy who'd never smiled once in his life. Griffin handed him a binder with every permit you could imagine. Noise waiver, emergency use, emissions certificate. The works. Brandt flipped through it, then turned to Patricia and said, "Ma'am, you're being reported for unauthorized utility tampering. This generator is legal and necessary. Case closed." Her face looked like she swallowed a lemon wrapped in a lawsuit. And then, twist of fate, Chloe showed up. Chloe was the electrician I hired to fix the damage. 5 feet tall, pink hair, big coffee, big attitude. She took one look at the meter box Patricia had mangled and said, "Jesus, did she try to perform surgery on it with garden tools?" While she worked, neighbors started trickling over. Mrs. Lively, the one whose flower buffer was supposedly violated, said, "Honestly, I kinda like the gnome. He has charm." Then Mr. Harrow, the guy who hadn't spoken since his wife passed, nodded and said, "She had it coming." And just when I thought things couldn't get sweeter, a young city official walked up Patricia's driveway, handed her a fat envelope. Legal documents. You could tell from her face. She tried to keep it together. But yeah, that was the sound of an empire crumbling. She resigned from the HOA 2 days later. Said she was seeking inner peace in rural Montana. Her house went up for sale with the sign 1 inch too close to the sidewalk. Poetic justice. Now, the street's quieter. Chloe fixed everything. Griffin hauled Bertha away, but not before I gave her a salute. And Bartholomew? He's back by the front steps, proudly wearing a little knit firefighter helmet one of the neighbors made. I sit on my porch every afternoon now, oxygen flowing smooth, iced tea in hand. And sometimes, if the wind's just right, I swear I can still hear the faint rumble of Bertha, the sound of justice served, 1 decibel at a time. So tell me this, was I petty or was I right? What would you have done if someone cut off your life support over a garden gnome? Drop a comment, share your HOA horror story, and let me know. Do you believe in bringing the noise when the quiet gets dangerous?